shrimp.
Oh yeah.
Welcome back.
But
Welcome
the
back.
videos can be
Welcome back.
surprising.
Secret House.
Secret House against Tokyo-based hip-hop art and culture conversations. Jed and I are here again. Dun, dun, dun. Today we're going to be discussing the collaborative project between Slumber Logic and Klwn Cat. What was found in the fire. It's another short one, just like the last yo that we did. We're only doing those short ones today. Next week we'll be back with the new Def C and the new Aesop Rock. So stay clocked in for that. But also stick around for this video because I think that a lot of you cats are going to love this one. It is 7 songs, 23 minutes, and it came out on April 10th. Pretty sure we've had this longer than that though. I think we got that one early. The details as read from Bandcamp say Slumber Logic album with beats by Klwn Cat. And what it says is just a few quotes. All right, we've got a Method Man quote. I'm on fire, fire, fire. Yes, I'm on fire, fire, fire. We've got a quote from Gravity's Rainbow. The fire was not just for warming. It had a purpose, a destination. And we've got another one from Operating Instructions. The thing about parenting is that it's not for the faint of heart. It's a full body experience where you're burned by the heat of your own love, your fears, your hopes, all of it just coming together in an enormous, overwhelming flame. And that's something I can identify with as an old b-boy father. And I think that's one of the most interesting things about this album. But before we get into the thoughts on the album, let's go ahead and discuss who these people are and how we know them. I think, Jet, both of us were introduced to Klwn Cat through the collaborative project with Sun Mundi. Check out our review on Lived and Born, which they did together, and also our conversation with Sun Mundi. That's right. An interview of sorts, a conversation. So we know Klwn Cat through that, and we were really happy that several people clocked into that review, and also several people reached out to us. A lot of Ka fans reached out on that album, and also Klwn Cat is working extremely hard this year, and there's some new stuff coming out soon too. Jed, I think I haven't pushed that album to you yet, but I just got it this week. You'll love it. Now, Slumber Logic. Slumber Logic is a producer, MC, poet, artist, also turntablist. Shout out, real hip hop, real hip hop.
Hey.
Real hip hop, real hip hop. Yeah, you know, hip hop hand, hip hop hat, all that. But he's from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Who I've heard his work now that I've been in more proximity with the Rap Music Plug podcast and some of the artists in there. Slumber Logic might also be in our Discord. I'm not quite sure, but I think I've talked to him about turntables before. But this is the second project that I've listened to from him. There was a project that came out in 2023 called Detachment, Homie and the Only Detachment, which is a little bit more boom bappish than this one. Klwn Cat is not necessarily always going to hit you with some like joints that you throw on in the backyard and fucking freestyle or something like that.
For sure.
So yeah, let's get into our thoughts on the album. Is he he's not in our Discord, no?
I didn't see him, but he might be.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. But if you want to join our Discord, not Slumber Logic, but you in general, there's a link in the bio. Also hit the like, subscribe, join the Patreon, and give us your money. We could use it to fund our clandestine projects to take over a ramen shop. I don't know. Yeah.
A ramen shop in Norway.
Yeah, that's the plan. They say that's a socialist country.
We're gonna be making some real socialist ramen.
So let's get into the album here. Is this your first time listening to Slumber Logic?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
That's obviously a name that's appeared, you know, within our kind of circles and our community, and I believe that Slumber Logic is someone that rocks with us, and we rock with Slumber Logic, of course. But yeah, I mean, first time to like sit down and listen to a project for sure.
You may have heard a song or two in here before too.
Yes.
In the studio, I mean. But yeah, to get right into this album, one of the things that I think, Slumber Logic mentions it inside of the kind of the liner notes and the lyrics notes on the Bandcamp is that this album is kind of a winter album. It's kind of it was kind of built with that kind of vibe and approach, and I get that immediately from it. But here we are in spring, and you can still enjoy it. But it definitely does have a kind of
frosty kind of vibe.
You don't necessarily want to sit next to the
amount of fire in it, but yeah, sitting by the fire.
So that's the thing about it too. But so for me, I am before I start talking about the beats, I'm a big fan of Slumber Logic's writing and rhyming. He has kind of a slower flow, a spoken rap style that isn't on some like spoken word or slam poetry style. He still maintains a pretty conventional hip hop bounce, but he fills the bars with these kind of deeply poetic, philosophical thoughts that build to create a pretty like clear through line in a lot of the stories that you sometimes will miss if you're not focused too much, because he uses a lot of not intentionally dazzling language. It's just the lens in which he kind of builds these stories and builds the vision of these shorts that he's talking about on a few of these tracks. And it's not like corny and pretentious in that way where it's like trying to be deep on twisting a turn of phrase, but a lot of it is just very fucking smart and very insightful and precise. And he does remind me a bit of like an early Quell from Galapagos 4, typical Cats fame. He reminds me of some cats like Prolific, also maybe typical Galapagos 4 fame, Strange Famous, and some of the artists that you might find on associated with that label 15, 20 years ago. I'm not really sure that what their artists are doing these days, and I'm not trying to say that he's like a Sage Francis with the style, because I think that he's a little bit more deeply poetic than Sage at a lot of times. But I fucking vibe with this album, and it hits for his style hits for a lot of reasons that I've liked hip hop for my entire life. He also just seems different than the stockpile of rappers that are doing rap. There remains like a unique identity in the way that he raps, the way that he sounds, and the way that he approaches his storytelling.
It's very
good for me.
Rhythmically interesting rapping as well. Like on this opening track, the fire.
I will fucking kill you. Yeah, like the way he's
got he sits on that kind of timbre. It's very it's kind of syncopated, but at the same time he's hitting the grid at different places. But then you move over to the next track, over to Respirator, and he's like a lot more loose. He kind of plays it fast and loose with the structure of the beat around him. You like to make the drummer horn player comparison, and I definitely think there's like some jazz drumming going on here, where it's like he's willing to kind of float on the grid in like a very interesting way, but at the same time he's also quite happy to move away from that when it's like appropriate to do so, based on the production.
Indeed, like he raps on beat and he lands on beat, but it's also like he's metering some of his delivery in a poetic way, where it kind of it's not you almost as if you could read this as a poem. And a lot of them, and not necessarily like some really iambic pentameter type of shit. The rhyme schemes are there, and there's interplay in words and a lot of poetic devices. But just the way that he delivers these stories is really compelling. That he's able to sit on a beat like this one,
which sounds like some Griselda type shit.
Let me turn down the bass
with the clipping.
Hold on, I'm gonna fix this because I've got my equalizer on and I've got it turned up crazy. Let me do a regular.
Something neutral.
Yeah, so let's go flat. Okay, a little bit too much bass on it still, but. And in the moment that I turn that knob, the past 24 hours compressed into a... So this is the track The Fire, which is the opening song on the album, which I think is really good, and I love the tone that it sets for the album, and also kind of gives a little bit of a mission statement about like where this album was coming from and the thought process. On the album notes, he says this was written when his son was a newborn and strapped to his chest as he's processing the changes in his available free time to write, produce, and record. And he feels the need to state that that for the record, this is not an album about regret, but sometimes art's pleasure for pleasure's sake feels like a betrayal to his responsibilities as a provider. And this song, the song that he's bombing on this, it really just opens up with him very kind of vividly highlighting his step from his car to his front porch and how he kind of lingers there for a second, smokes a cigarette, he opens the door and he's greeted by this woman, and inside there's a burning of all of his gear and his notebooks and all this hip-hop shit, and it turns out the woman is his bills. And it's such a very simple way to approach the type of issues that human beings, not just a rapper,
simple
have.
but relatable conceit.
Yeah, I mean, for the lens from a rapper, it's like all of his, but if your hobby was video
Like
games,
an artist, or any kind of hobbyist, really.
Yeah, your Jessel, your easel, your other things would be in there too. And it just was like, as like, people that listen to the show, they know I'm a father as well. And even just doing Secret House is juggling the idea of my responsibilities. Like, it's a Saturday afternoon, my daughter's in the living room and she's like, yo, Dad, let's play with fucking slime. And I got fucking Jet here right now. I got to do this thing. And so those type of things and the responsibility, especially for a newborn
now.
especially for a new father, this album really strikes a chord with me just in that particular way. But it's also got a lot of other things going on in it that I think are just fascinating. Song number 2, Respirator, is another fucking bullshit thing that I deal with. Smoking cigarettes and how he kind of... And it's such a simple conceit. It's simple, just like, I used to smoke cigarettes, I transferred to vapes, and I feel good about it, but also, like, what is there to really feel good about? And the way that he lays it out, like what I just said, it's like, I don't really care to listen to a song about that bullshit. But it's fucking kind of great. And the if I should pull up the lyrics, because there are so many points on this album that I just feel like, wow, that way that was said is so fucking ill. There's a few rappers that I think that, my whole time being a hip-hop human being, which, I really started being a hip-hop human at like 12. Of course, I like rap before that. I'm 42 years old. So in 1995, I'm like really doing a hip-hop shit. One of the things that I've always felt is that there's been a level of like super dope artists who are really good at rapping, and then a million other people who are just rappers. And everybody can say something dope, everybody can be on a good track or do something interesting. Iggy Azalea can fucking rap. Like the homies down the street, they can fucking rap. But there's guys like Miles Cook and Sun Moondy and Trey Does and Rapman Gavin and Slumber Logic and Noname and so many cats that I don't see Dead End Hip Hop or other outlets, even a Professor Sky, approaching their music with the same level of interest that they would like in a Lucid. And I know that type of shit, Woods albums gets clicks and things like. We could have done the Woods today instead of Slumber Logic or the Yo album, but there's already Woods conversations out there. This shit right here, the writing is great. I can't listen to this and be like, oh yeah, anybody can rap. This isn't some dude on the fucking beach with a microphone pointing at people's outfits and rapping. Everybody can do that, but this shit is deeply poetic, super fucking high level, like just incredible rap that you can appreciate this person as an individual and not another one just tracing and performing and doing the same things, which some of the songs on this album discuss. We've got the homies Trey Does and Rapman Gavin on this on a song called Raps for Sale. And this is, I think that I've heard them on another track. On the last album, they're on a track together. And Trey Does is super dope. Shout out to Trey Does. Rapman Gavin, super dope. Both friends of our show and people in our community that we also feel a same way about their rapping ability. This track that they do together, Raps for Sale, man, the trio is so hard. They could be a trio. They could be a rap crew. For sure. We could call them like Man Does Slumber.
Hey.
Man Does Slumber Rap Logic. Trey Does Rapman Gavin and Slumber Logic. You know what I mean? Like they're really good together. And that song, like, let me just go to the Bandcamp, right? Instead of showing you Rin Nakai.
Yo, shout out to Nakai.
Yeah, I told you this is like my favorite lady face in MMA back in the day. But if you go to the song, hold on. So on this song, on this song that features the homies and shit, which is called Raps for Sale, like the notes at the end of the song says, when another human is completely dependent on you for food, clothing, and shelter, you tend to view finances and previous choices differently. And this verse is about processing the fact that rap doesn't pay bills, but external validation or financial gain has never held much sway for him. This is the fucking 4-element hip hop kid that I'm talking about. I when I was rapping, I wasn't rapping to be a fucking like, oh, I'm gonna sell an album, I'm gonna get put on by the living legends and shit like that. I understand people have that goal and they want to sell their art, but I always did it as a part of the culture, and I just maybe will continue one day. But all of these things resonate for me, and they resonate in a way that is like, I'm like, these are some of the dopest cats out. Let me I'm not gonna lie, I didn't prepare many notes about these two albums. I thought 20 minutes I could freestyle a little bit and get my thoughts off. But this song, Duck-Billed Platypus, is maybe my favorite song in the album. One, I'm a big fan of Duck-Billed Platypus.
Are there non-duck-billed platypi? Are they all duck-billed?
Absolutely. I consider myself a platypi a bit. You know, I got singers in the hills and lay eggs.
Sure.
Jordan Peterson's not going to stand for this nonsense. So
depends what you mean by stand.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he would be okay with me being a lobster. But, the lyrics on this Duck-Billed Platypus joint, like some of the bars, like 4-leaf clovers in the shade of his sticks and stones mistaken for Sisyphus's boulders. I hobble to the top, limbs broken, soaking in potion. Notebook full of roguery, pencil full of... It's hard.
One must imagine Slumber Logic happy.
One must. I was going to drop that bar on the Billy Woods review. One must imagine Billy Woods happy. But yeah, no Billy Woods review. I'm sorry, guys. It's not happening. I don't really care to discuss it with you guys further. If you guys want to talk about, Frantz Fanon, we're here for that.
Or August Fanon, for that matter.
Oh yeah. That's good too. But like.
Life Logan spoke for the broken, eschewed a slogan, refused the mutant cure, serum. The back alley dentist train.
He says, laugh my adamantium's erosion. The low life Logan spoke for the broken, eschewed a slogan, refused the mutant cure. Serum. Spelled wrong on there, but yeah, you gotta do it.
Price is right, bitch. Get your pet sound spayed and neutered. Cloud stripe Salinger, draw from the endless aquifer. Sipping Jameson, an economy with Noel Gallagher. Go ahead. Try to counter the hypothalamus. Catch the venom from the heel of my pet duck-billed platypus. Hey, yo, Bill.
Fucking hard. Fucking hard. And there's also a track on here, and this is something that's in the tradition, I guess, of Slumber Logic's album. So we've had on the 2023 release, he also had our man Dano from Free Music Empire, friend of the show. I've been on his show once or twice. It's good homie, somebody that I think is brilliant in the hip hop space and somebody that is absolutely incredible. So go check out Free Music Empire. Their link is in the bio as well, because we support them. Even though I just removed all of the Patreon support from our collaborators, my apologies, but we'll get back to you guys after we give some money to some other people, like the Black Alliance for Peace. Anyways, Dano kills on that. It's just like, the album's really good. I don't want to rant or rave about it too long, because we're probably talking for longer than the album is at this point. I really want you guys to check this one out. I want you guys to do your homework on Klwn Cat. I want you guys to do your homework on Slumber Logic. And all of the features on this album are Man Trey Does, Rap Man Gavin, Dano, Free Music Empire. This is kind of where the shit happens. And this is, if you're mad that we didn't do Billy Woods, you can blame them, because we want to shout these guys out since Billy Woods getting looks all over the place. I think I talked to Slumber Logic about turntables before. It might have been somebody else, but yeah, shout out to turntablists. Shout out to anybody who's making music that will still put turntablists in their bio. It's got to be that way. I'm a big fan. I'll be looking forward to more of this. Klwn Cats gonna have a crazy year. You guys wait and see.
Porn persona.
Shout out to Deza. Trey does be getting off.
Civilian Trey. Trey might. Trey doesn't. Just Trey.
I know Trey.
Shit don't stick where you parked it, and if it's drafting, I'm dodging. Don't call
I'm gonna let this rock and just chill with it for a minute.
like niggas, raps for sale.
Man, a lot of homies came and went. When they played me their beats, you see the store veneers lift and a glimpse of the green pith. Some would cipher at the house party so ill you'd be convinced they'd be bells of the biz if the grit matched the gift. But we party now. Some of them made millions. Crib whip stability for their children's children. As if this is just something they did while they was young and illin'. Before they got out of business, like the picnic before the killing.
That's crazy. Like the picnic before the killing.
Hinting the true home wrecker is recognition. When reception don't meet expectations.
That's like a
Take away from
pick a nigga. You know what I mean? Like the, yeah.
I don't know how historically truthful that whole etymology is, but yeah.
Neither do I. It's like the lullabies, and it's like, who knows? Yeah, I also am not so invested in it, but the usage for the rhyme is like fucking hard. Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastically ransacked in juxtaposition. The gods have been mismanaging.
That's hard. Fantastically ransacked in juxtaposition to gods I've been mismanaging. Deaf to the analyst. Deaf to the
Holding the phone to the ground, hoping the year if I left panicking. Destination can't actually go. Most of the souls still ignored. Float on them rappers, they floored, splattering. Backward smack and arrogant hack. My riddles candid snaps a dreamer collects. Envision black as night, the colors reset. Picture painted since the day my parents met. Inevitable veteran ascent. Too early, still too spent. I seen the truth bent to traumatic lens. Erratic strength in the predator's steps. No checkmate long as every king got a neck. In my deepest of dreams, I have learned to rest. I have found some time. And I grabbed the pen.
That's hard. No checkmate long as every king got a neck. Oh, this beat with Dano, the Dano shit too, is probably one of my favorite beats on the album. Go outside. I don't know. Secret House Against, Tokyo-based hip-hop art and culture. We love you guys. Hit the like, subscribe, support our collaborators, support all these artists, and fucking figure it out. Aesop Rock next week. Def C next week. Two of the illest.
the lake.
SH.
Like a diamond clover.
Hold on, I'm gonna let it go out on Dano.
Cobra Hill, make a soldier kneel, nothing. Hold hands. We're offering.
Where is it at?
Comforts us, knocks us out of joy. You know how hard it is just to drink in a good day? Let dragonfly wings find a rhythm your eyes feed you into. No one prepares you for it. The waking world was handcrafted by people with overwhelming mustaches to build a sense of life.
This thing is overwhelming mustaches. Peace.